We started the programme with some corporate news flow, a little bit of markets, but not clear exactly where direction's coming from right now. But one thing that was of interest, the Australian inflation print, reminding us once again, perhaps, of these things don't move in a straight line. Do we take anything globally away from that 4% print on inflation?
Yeah, I think it reinforces the idea that, inflation's not going to come back down to this old world, and probably the 10, 12 years that we got post-crisis was the anomaly, and we're going back to a slightly higher yield regime. What is that level of yields? It's hard to know right here. I was trying to work out, have Australian yields overreacted or not, given how much they've moved overnight. I think they're about fair. They're pricing in a 50% chance of a rate hike, and I think that's about fair. So there's not really an opportunity there, but I think this is a general theme that people who are betting on aggressive rate cuts, that can only work in a world of where we get a significant downturn in growth.
OK, and we'll have our views on whether that's likely. Let me ask you then, with that in mind, have we heard anything new from the Fed voices we had? I mean, Lisa Cook standing out for saying we'll get a cut in rates at some point, which doesn't sound very definitive at all. And then Bowman goes so far as to say, suggesting at least that the recent soft data hasn't changed the view there. I mean, anything new on the Fed debate?
I probably shouldn't say this, but I've just stopped reading any of these Fed comments at all. I don't think we've heard anything new since December. I think December was this kind of dovish reaction function. We are desperately looking to cut rates when we get given a chance. I don't think anything's changed since then. I basically, every morning, through every report, whether it's Bloomberg or anyone else, you're going to get, these are all the Fed comments overnight. I just tune them out. My eyes glaze over at that point. I don't think we get anything new. They're data dependent. And the data at the moment does not justify rate cuts.
No, and we're going to get some PCE data, I think, the end of this week. Is that going to be a focus? Could that?
I mean, obviously, if that's a big shock, that can change things.
Some of it's been soft recently, some of that inflation.
Exactly. And I do think there's a genuine disinflationary theme out there, and I think there's probably the downside chance there. And I guess, compared to a month ago, what's changed for me, rather than any of the Fed rhetoric, is I do think that some of that disinflation actually is coming back in. I thought we were going to go into a re-acceleration of inflation, and that's not coming through yet. So that's a slightly positive sign overall. But I think that, rate cuts aren't coming soon. I think we need this whole sequence of data prints before we change the narrative.